You are now tuned in to the GNWY podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the GNWY podcast. And today we have none other. For one, do not forget to like, rate, review, subscribe, do all of the things to everything Generation Y, GNWY.co. Thank you so much for tuning in. And today we have none other than a repeating guest. He came on last, I would say, 2 years ago?
Yeah. 2 years
2020.
ago.
Yeah.
2020.
That's whenever we started. So
great year, by the way, for America.
shout out to 2020. Yeah. Really solid. Really a good turning point for everybody. But last year, or 2 years ago, you came on, and for one, I would say let me introduce you for a second. This is it. Perfect. This is none other than the man, the myth, the legend. Bob Saget's lookalike. Jacob Wells, everybody. Yes. How are you feeling today, man?
Feeling great. A little bit chilly outside.
Right.
And
of course.
Did think it was important. Like, do you think Alex bringing up that I look like Bob Saget had anything to do with his death? Oh. Because it seems a little untimely, right, when people are drawing comparisons. So been feeling guilty about it.
Wait a second. So you think that our podcast episode caused Bob Saget's death?
Well, there's not like a ton of listeners to your podcast, so it probably took it a little bit of time for Bob to hear about it. And
man, that was like the worst. That's the worst shot I've ever heard, man. That's anyways, we're getting up there, okay, with the podcast. Okay. But anyways, I think that for one, that episode was our most listened to podcast. So good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
I did listen to it every day. I drove up those ratings.
So that was you.
Just by myself.
Of course. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So Jacob Wells, you're a new father, right?
Yes.
Tell us about Roland real quick. How old is he?
Roland Duke Danger, by the way. 2 middle names on the birth certificate.
He has Danger in his middle name.
Oh, yeah.
You never even told me that. That's incredible.
Well, the only way I got my wife to agree to let me put it on there was by telling her I'd keep it a secret. So, mission accomplished.
Secret's out, everybody.
Well, I figured if I was going to talk about it on a podcast.
Right. Of course.
To keep it as low-key as possible.
You really set him up for success with this Danger one. Where did the Duke and Danger come from?
Well, I was, number one, I was thinking if I was like 16 years old and then I found out that like I was Jacob Danger, I'd be pretty excited about it.
Do you think that would change the course of your life?
I think it would have made me a better person for sure. Maybe a little bit taller.
A better person?
Yeah. I mean,
changing the name makes the height change. Maybe I need a different name.
There's a whole like psychology on the importance of names and how people live up to the names.
That's actually true.
Which I found out my dad was talking about that when I was a kid, and I looked up what the meaning of Jacob was, and it's like liar and grabber of hills from Hebrew. So I was like, wow, thanks, Dad.
So that really like came full circle, or like you're not a grabber of hills?
Well, I grab people's hills all the time, but then it's like, I got to live up to this name. And so every time I'm tempted to tell the truth, I naturally like, what would Jacob do?
What would Jacob do?
They made those bracelets about
WWJD.
Yeah.
They made the bracelets about it? That was about you. Wow, I didn't know that.
I thought so.
You thought so?
Yeah.
That's why I wore them too. Just Jordan,
They're good to match with stuff. But
right.
Anyways, you roll.
That's what you said last time too. Was that you have every sibling has a biblical name, except
William, the last one.
William.
Yeah.
Goodness.
And like he's not turning out so hot either. So like
it doesn't matter.
They tried to switch up the formula. Like,
it doesn't matter what you name your kids.
Right. But what they should have figured out is like the apostles were all pretty screwed up too. Like there wasn't, you can't like name them kids after Bible names and expect them like Noah.
Hopefully this will be good.
Yeah. This will be, I mean, the Hispanic culture naming a lot of kids Jesus. Now, I'd like to know how those kids are turning out because
I think they're probably doing pretty well because there's nothing negative about like saying, hey, I would like, Jesus to do something. You wanted some advice? Go to Jesus. Like everything is really positive in regards to that. So I think your next son or even daughter should be named Jesus.
Well, I thought about why is only one culture go with like Jesus as a name. Isn't that kind of crazy?
That is interesting.
Do you know any like African Americans or white guys named Jesus?
Whoa.
No, you don't.
Whoa.
Yeah. I looked through your Facebook friends and it's a short list and I didn't see any on there.
That's very interesting. I didn't
Yeah.
know. I didn't think about that. Wow. Okay.
It's got stuff that keeps me up at night.
Right. And the Brahms coffee. That's what's up. So Roland came from
really
Duke
bitter.
Danger. Came from what?
So Roland, I really thought Roland was just an awesome name.
Of course.
There's a Warren Zevon song called Roland the Headless Thompson Gunner,
Okay.
which is incredible. It's about a guy named Roland who's a Thompson gunner and he loses his head, but then he goes back for revenge.
Of course.
Anyway, that was pretty cool. And then
So you really got to name the whole name. Where did your wife have any direction?
well,
in
there's
this?
a reason I waited 8 years to have a kid of marriage, and it was so I could get the perfect name. You don't want to,
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
half butt it
Right.
when it comes
Right.
to something this important. So
Yeah, for sure.
I told her if she wanted a child, these are the parameters, and I finally let her have one once we had agreed to all the terms and conditions.
Okay.
So Roland, I wanted something unique, and then also Charlemagne's nephew. Charlemagne was
Charlemagne the God?
no, not his nephew. This is an
Oh.
older one, like 800 AD.
Oh, okay.
Long ago. There's a not mythical, he's historical, but it was like 800 AD, and he's 8 foot tall warrior who was a crusader and like brought Christianity. And there's a statue of Roland like in every European city.
Really?
Because they have became like a myth, like Roland, the great warrior. And
Wow.
the stories are he killed 1,000 and he killed 100,000 people, him and his group of soldiers, like in one battle. Very like David in the Bible,
Right.
biblical stuff of legends.
And you're going to create a type of story that you can tell Roland that he's gonna remember what his name is like. You're gonna make it epic, right?
Well, I'm gonna make it better than history because, it's pretty good, but
Yeah.
most of that stuff's made up anyways. Once you go back that far, they're just guessing. So
Of course. That's what's up. So that's amazing. And okay, for one, I'm getting a little sidetracked on how awesome this shirt is. Okay, where did you get the shirt, and what made you want to get this? Is that velvet? What is this?
yeah, it's velvet,
Oh my gosh.
or it could be like an old bath towel. It actually kind
That's
of
what
looks
I
like
thought it was about to. Yeah, and my grandmother has the same type of towels.
Well,
yeah.
I'm all about comfort, and so I think I got it on
Right.
Instagram. Knows my mind better than I know myself.
Oh,
and
so it's an Instagram purchase.
it popped up on Instagram.
It looks like
and-
you should be in a PGA tournament.
Well, I was thinking I could be good for like this point in my life, and then I would retire, and I
Yeah.
can like move to Florida, and I don't have to change clothes.
Are you a golfer?
I'm a very poor golfer,
Okay.
but I do golf quite a bit.
Excellent.
I really like looking for other people's balls, and I like losing my balls. It's
It's a rough game out there.
very,
what's up.
very frustrating game.
Right, of
Anytime I
course.
feel good about myself, I'll go golf, and it just kind of bring it back down.
That's okay. I'm usually there for the the vibes, hanging out with people, laughing, joking, smacking balls, all that kind of thing.
Wow.
So
I got smacking balls.
it makes sense. But we're here for their good time. So all that to say, even with the whole Roland situation, this was what I was going to go back to before I got distracted, but going to naming your kid, okay? Same thing. Okay, my son, his name is Jet, right? Jet.
Jet what?
Jet Tyler, right?
Wow.
Sounds like a rock star.
Wasted middle name.
Are you
there.
kidding? That is so fire. So my thing was
Tyler with an H or just T-Y?
Tyler with an H.
Yeah, like T-H-Y.
I've never spelled it like that, or I've never seen
Well,
it.
I know
Is
you
it-
wouldn't-
is that a thing?
Wow, that's
Tyler?
homeschool.
Taylor?
so-
Is there a Tyler spelled with an H? No. He said it. No.
Well,
Yikes. Man, that is
I
rough.
bet there's a Tyler out there.
Tyler?
It would be a Tyler with a silent H. Anyways, what were you saying about Jet T?
Tyler with the there probably is. We need to hook up your computer sometime and see if you can look it up. Tyler, who I did have a friend.
It'd be
back in
Tyler
the day.
with a silent H, like
Okay, yeah,
Philip.
like Zach.
Zach with a silent H. Yeah.
According to bestlittlebaby.com, it's not a thing.
Well, I've never even heard of that website, so
right. They're just guessing too. That's hilarious. Thyler, have you seen that?
I thought I had. Now,
I thought
I like to put H's in where I just sometimes throw an H in there because it looks like it should be there sometimes.
You're a thigh man.
Okay.
Nope. That's what's up. Okay, but going back to I picked the name pretty much, and was like I had to go for almost a 3-day process of making fun of it as many ways as I could, finding any way that I could like be the bully to make fun of this name. So then, no matter what my kid is thrown at, or I have to change the name and be like, you know what, this okay. If it goes this far,
you've been making fun of him, right, just to prepare him. You've been bullying him.
Well,
right
before
now to
he was
prepare him
even
for the
born.
future?
Before
Okay.
he was even born, you know what I'm saying? Before we came up with the idea of the name.
So like you had some other names like that were really dumb, like
Yeah.
Jordan. Like, oh, that won't work. You
Yeah.
get stuffed in a locker for sure.
Right, it made fun of the height. Yeah, definitely. So, but yeah, that was my process, my thought process on that. But obviously, you took 8 years to think about the name. You had time, so that's good.
I thought Roland was a pretty.
That's a solid
It's
name.
a difficult one to make fun of. Too.
Which you have a series.
I would like to ask.
Oh.
We need to get into
Yeah.
any parenting advice that
yeah.
you might have for me as
This is a
well.
real parenting advice.
I'm 5 months in, and so do's and don'ts.
Do's and don'ts. Ah, man. Don't be, which I think that you already wouldn't be, you know what I'm saying? But like the strict, like rule type parent, you know what I'm saying? Because like
No rules.
it's a baby. You
What-
know what I'm saying? Like
Do
they don't even know the concept.
Wait, how old is Jet?
He's 3.5. Now there's rules. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I feel like you start to see where the consciousness starts to kick in and they start to understand things.
So I should stop spanking him right now because it's not really doing anything.
Oh, you spank him?
Well,
Now?
only when he cries.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah.
You know, when a
I mean,
dog
I think
poops
it's
on
hilarious.
the floor, you potty train a dog by rubbing their nose into it. And I
Right.
feel like
Did you start doing that too?
not yet, but it was like if a dog's definitely not as smart as a human,
Right,
and
right,
so
right.
if this dog can learn how to communicate with
Right.
me,
Yeah.
even though I don't have a dog, but I've seen it done
Oh,
on
okay. Yeah,
TV
yeah.
shows and such, then
Like the dog whisperer?
why does it take a baby so long? Like
Yeah.
by the time a dog's 3, that's like 65 in dog year. It's almost
That's
dead.
true. It's almost dead. That's
And-
probably maybe his brain matures faster than.
And then we're just dragging these kids out where we should be training. I've been reading a whole bunch about, like, why does it take so long for a kid to be smart? Is it because we drag it out? Or are babies not as smart as dogs? I already know they don't walk as good as dogs. Like, dogs come out and the puppies are walking around within like 2 days, and my kid can't even roll over barely.
it's okay.
Is there going to be this much disappointment raising a child, or does it start to go away in the first year?
I think you know you kind of roll with the punches. You know, you
I'd
kind of
be happy if he could punch, but he can't. He's more of like
you can't even control the hands at 5 months, right?
he just started being able to grab stuff, and it's like,
But it's more like one of those things where it's just like I want the
yeah, where I can't figure out how to. I mean, he knows how to like grab things and try and eat them.
Right,
And
of course.
that happened about a week ago. So, but I know
baby steps.
when I compare it to like animals in nature, I'm like, you're behind the ball here, bucko, because
Do you think that even back in the day, whenever like you know the mammoths and you know cave people had babies, do you think that they raised them like an animal,
I think the mammoths definitely
Ate
raised
them.
them like an animal.
like Ice Age?
Yeah. When the mammoths had babies, they
Right.
raised them like animals
Of course,
for sure.
Ray
well,
Ramon. Yeah,
I mean, I know that they're, going back like even a couple hundred years in history, like
Yeah.
In like Jewish culture, you're a man at 12, and like there wasn't as much to learn, so people were getting married
Even
at 12
grow-
and
yeah,
13.
grow-
They were
yeah.
they were already as smart as their parents because they didn't
Yeah.
have education and higher learning, so they were
Right.
full-fledged adults because they had all the world's knowledge at a super young age.
Right.
And then now the paradox is we spend like 25 years of our life learning
Yeah.
so that we can like work another 25 years and then retire and die.
Yeah.
And like a third of our life is spent educating
Learning.
ourselves for this small part that we're going to live, which seems interesting. But
Very interesting.
I don't know how the cavemen raised their kids. I imagine they were like, if you want to eat something, you better catch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the baby's like, well, I'm going to...
I think it was all survival. It had to be, right?
Yeah. Well, one thing I did with Roland to make him grow up faster is he's got a crib and he's about to outgrow the crib, and we had a guest room, and I left the queen size bed in the guest room.
Okay.
My wife was all about getting rid of it and turning it into a nursery. But my thought is he's going to outgrow that crib and be uncomfortable. And then I'm not going to get him another bed. He's going to have to figure out how to get up in that queen size bed. And if he doesn't, he can sleep on the floor in a tiny crib.
Right.
But I feel like nature will take its course, and he's going to eventually be like, I
Yeah.
need to get up there because
Right.
this is terrible. And
Do I want Tempur-Pedic or do I want the floor?
exactly.
Right.
You know, grow him into an adult faster.
Those are the challenges that you need as a kid.
And my wife doesn't want him to grow into an adult faster, but I'm like, well, who's going to... Full Feed would help out around here with lawn and
We're paying for his food and
part-time.
clothing.
Exactly.
He can at least contribute something.
I've already been talking to him how he needs to start saving for a car. And
Yeah,
if he wants
yeah.
to go to college, he better be really smart
Of course. Yeah.
or really athletic, which it's not coming from my side. Well, it could come from my...
But you did just start jujitsu. Or not just now, but like
I did.
after the last episode, you did
Yeah.
start jujitsu.
Oh, yeah. That's,
What belt are you right now?
I'm a white belt.
Okay. Perfect.
It's going well. I actually
White belt and it's going
just
well.
got second place
Hey.
in a IB International Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Where was
tourn-
that at?
It was Oklahoma City, the college.
Where was this not posted? Is
I
this
didn't-
not an open
I
invitation?
didn't tell people about it because I didn't expect.
We wanna support
I didn't
you.
expect to make it on the
It-
stand. Yeah, I got
It
a
doesn't matter if you win or lose.
medal and everything.
That's what's up.
Well, I didn't. I didn't. I told my wife not to come. I was like, don't. Just
I don't need the pressure.
let's just wait till I don't think I'm gonna get throttled.
Right.
So
That's what's up,
yeah,
man.
no, it's.
So how many people were in your class?
Listen, I don't want to get into that.
2.
There's 4. I had to win one fight to
Right.
make it to the finals.
Okay,
because
yeah.
I was in the heavyweight class.
Was
And
this like beginners or was this like
so
'cause-
in the it's white belts? So
Okay.
they do like different weight classes, and so there's like I'm in the heavyweight, and then there's a super heavyweight and an ultra heavyweight. So I'm like I had to be under 208 pounds with my gi on, and so the guys in that weight class, I'm
208? You said
208.
Okay.
So I had to be 204, which was tiniest I've ever been since I was like 12 years old. I was a big boy.
I was the big boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was
At
some-
12, 204. You were not. Jacob.
Well, a lot of people tell me I was fat, so in my mind I was. 'Cause- and those people were my older brothers who were super skinny,
Right.
and they were projecting
Right.
because they felt uncomfortable about how skinny they were. and they were
Insecurity,
calling
yeah.
me fat.
Yeah.
They were bullying me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So there was
Could
no
be a-
Gen Y back then to have them talk to my brothers. Otherwise,
But we don't really pull up into a homeschool situation.
well, it's definitely more needed in
You-
homeschool than these public schools.
You want
that
us
you're
to come
focusing
in with
on.
a JBL speaker, Bluetooth, and just go nuts?
It'd be necessary because. there's
All
a-
right, Mom in the kitchen, go ahead, put your hands in the air. Kids are going to love this. Go ahead, Jacob, stand up. You need some exercise.
My mom's Jewish.
Yes. Yes.
I mean,
clanking around on
I'm
the
one of 8
dishes.
kids though, so that's about the size of some of the classrooms you've probably been
That's
to.
true. That's true. Yeah. Some of those put like small like outskirt towns. Yeah, it's pretty small. But I mean, I think the smallest crowd that we've been in front of is like 50, but they were still lit. So
Oh, well,
yeah.
Not to brag, but the smallest crowd I've been in front of is 50. Huh?
I mean, I was just that's good. Yeah.
Wow.
But it was fun. It was fun. But going back to what you were saying, what were you saying?
I feel like it was super important.
It was. It was obviously. We were talking about your home. No, what was before homeschool?
I kind
Your
of
your brother's bullying you because you're weight class. Bam.
Oh, wow.
Jujitsu.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow.
You got to follow the trail.
Way to recover. The breadcrumbs led right back there. Yeah, no, so the jiu-jitsu, it's fun. It's
What made you want to start jujitsu?
mainly, well, out of my 8 siblings, I think there's been 7 or 8 ACL tears, and my brother, right when we did this last time, I don't know if we mentioned it, but he tore his like Achilles. I was playing basketball. I played a lot of basketball. Both my older brothers were college basketball players, and so I grew up playing basketball. But there seems to be a lot of massive injuries,
yeah.
especially in my family, where we don't know how to play very quietly.
Are the wells pretty brittle?
They're very aggressive,
Oh, okay.
and they go all out. So
Yeah.
I do too. Like I've fouled out of so many games, like where I just run
Yeah.
hardcore.
I've even heard other stories that you've shared with me that you go all out on things.
I go Old Testament when I need to.
That's what's up. I love it.
But as I'm older, I just turned 36
Congrats.
this month,
Wow.
actually.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been good. It's been really, really good. I just needed to start something that I felt like, well, I might get a black eye. You can still get hurt in jiu-jitsu, but not
Yeah.
like someone's going to have to like break your arm and they're going to have to be really mean about it
Right,
to
right,
do
right.
it. Like basketball, you could be running around and your knee just pops out all of a sudden because if you're jumping and
Right.
so
Land wrong.
that's how it started. I was looking at stuff to do.
And you found out you're pretty good?
And I found out I'm incredible. Like as far as the white belts go,
Out of 4, you got second. That's good.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I felt pretty
Is it one of those things, like elimination wise? Because I know in wrestling, whenever I used to wrestle, like it'd be double elimination.
This was single elimination.
Whoa, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So you definitely didn't have to go through 2. You have only went through 1. Did you
I-
lose one at all?
Yeah, I lost. So like
Well,
I had
I
to,
guess
I had to
yeah,
win one to
who
make
got
it to
first?
the championship.
Right.
And then honestly, I was like, when I found out, they're like, well, yeah, you're going to be on the podium
Yeah.
before the fight. I was like, oh, I'm going to get second. I didn't know how many people were going to be in it either. It was a bad weather weekend.
Oh, okay.
It was 2 or 3 weeks ago, the first ice storm that we had. And so since it's an international deal, people will fly in for them. It's like
Wow.
a qualifying tournament, and they do them like in
From like all over America or like all over the world?
all over the world. It's an international, so people will come to compete in these tournaments. They have
Dang.
them in different states, and it builds with the international. You get points, and it tracks. Like if you want to be, you could be the baddest black belt, but if you never fight in these tournaments, you're not going to be internationally ranked.
Wow. Okay.
So people will fly around and go to these tournaments to compete so they can get their rankings up because you have to compete in these open tournaments
Yeah,
to
yeah.
like build up your rankings. So a lot of people canceled because
The weather.
it's like a 2-day tournament because there's all these different weight classes and they don't come out with a schedule. So people had to book flights for the weekend, and then tons of flights got canceled. So like half the contestants in all the different brackets
Yeah.
couldn't make it in. And
Dang.
so that helped me out a lot too.
That's what's up. Hey, man, you got second. That's what's up. Did you win by points, submission, or
Submission.
Hey, okay.
Submission.
How'd you submit them?
I did an Americana where I was laying on his
Yeah, let me lay it on the
chest.
table for you. Yeah, you can go ahead. Was it?
I was
What
kind
is
of like,
this? What is it? So you just pushed him away
I'd have to. I was laying on top of him, and I bent his
with his back on the ground, or
back on the ground,
Okay.
and I like bent his arm and shoulder back that way.
uh-huh.
Went under it like that.
Yeah. For the people who don't know what Americano is, that's just bending their arm back and they just tap. Yeah. Or
Yes, yeah, it's a
Okay.
submission. It's a pressure submission where it's like putting a bunch of pressure on it. Like if I was strong you could break. You're in a
Yikes.
position to.
Have you seen those YouTube videos? My dad loves YouTube videos, okay? So, like, instead of watching regular TV, he just binge watches YouTube videos. But anyway, he was watching this one guy.
Does he ever watch this podcast?
I hope he does, because that would boost up the views, father. Anywho's. No, yeah, he does. He does watch this, but he was watching this one. He was like, "This all of these like jujitsu artists, martial artists, and
Dojo life.
yes." But they came across a a person who does UFC or street fighting, and it's like the dude demolishes them, because it's like if you're thinking in the fact that, like, I run up to you on the dark alley, jujitsu, I'm just wanting to maul you. You're not going to be able to Americano me.
I will be able to.
Okay, maybe. But I'm saying, like, a dude that's just pissed out of his mind, just wanting to maul you like that. How are you going to just, let me.
Yeah, I would snap his arm in half, and then I'd break both of his legs and beat him with it.
Hearing about your other story of you running in cowboy boots, that is a story to tell. If you want, you don't have to. But that is hilarious.
I don't mind telling the story.
You were a superhero. They talk about you in the streets
I think I'm past
as the cowboy god.
past the.
They call you Clippity Clop.
I'm trying to think if I did anything illegal in that situation.
I don't think so. You save a lady's purse. Are you kidding?
Okay.
Story time with
All right.
Jacob Wells.
Story time with Jacob Wells.
Yes.
So this is a long time ago.
Clarify that one.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna tell the other story. A long time ago, I was
In an alley far, far away.
far, far away. Lived downtown in Bricktown, and I told you I don't remember the circumstances, but I had a really, really bad day. Probably it started it off with like a Brahms coffee, and which is terrible.
I get nervous because flashbacks. Yeah.
Bad day. We went out. I went out with some friends downtown,
Right.
and I don't remember the situation, but I had a
course.
bad night. I was
Right.
really upset with how my night was going, and I hardly ever get upset.
Of course. You're a chill going guy.
I am. I'm
Yeah.
very relaxed. It's
Love
like I'm
it.
wearing a soft shirt all the time.
Grandma's towels.
But I remember walking to my car, and I remember that I had my keys through my fist,
Like Wolverine.
like Wolverine.
Yeah.
I used to make Wolverine things out of sticks when I was a kid. I used to get socks and stick a little.
Nothing's
twigs.
changed.
No.
That's
so
good.
I was like, now I had metal Wolverine because
I
those
have-
stick ones always broke when I tried to stab
Of
myself.
course. Now I'm adult. I got to graduate.
But I was like walking to my car, and it's like 1:30 in the morning, and it's dark, and I was like, gosh, I didn't even know jujitsu. I was like, I wish somebody would try and maul me.
Yeah.
That maul was like biting somebody.
Well, whatever. I mean,
that's the
it
term
could be
you use
anything.
to-
Yeah.
It
I
can
guess,
be-
yeah, a dog mauls you. Yeah.
I didn't
So-
want a dog to maul me, but I was like, I was feeling like, man, it'd be great if someone would try
Feeling
and jump me right
frisky,
now.
yeah.
Yeah, if there's just a couple crackheads that and tried to get me,
Slice.
I'd be like, oh, come on, this is great.
Lucky day.
Without knowing how to fight or ever doing anything.
It was just the adrenaline pumping.
It was
Okay.
just being angered, and it was
Yeah.
like, oh, I would just destroy somebody right now. I don't care who it is.
Right.
So anyway, I walked to my car without incident, and that made me even angrier.
Uh-huh.
I was like, what? I was tucking little dollar bills in my back pockets and like, whoa, I've got so much money. I'm a little bit tipsy. I hope nobody tries to rob me.
You trying to bait somebody to
Yeah.
come rob you? That's
Like,
hilarious.
whoa, I can't find my car keys.
Oops. Dropped him.
There's so much cash laying around in my car. I hope nobody steals it and tries to fight me. Nobody came. Nobody came because they could
Right.
just see the steam coming off my head.
Of course.
So I called my brother.
You see a bunch of like robbers in the background. Is he faking? Like, should we go? Should we go? Like, maybe you go first. All right.
Let's wait for another one. Look, there's Jordan over there. Let's get him.
Go.
That guy doesn't look like a threat.
You look more pissed that they're mauling me too. Like, come on.
Well, yeah, that might have backfired because if I saw someone else, it'd be like, now that's All right, that's pretty funny.
Right, of course.
I would have stepped in. I'm a hero.
Because
So I drive
The
home,
story.
which is like a couple blocks away, and I like call my brother, and I was telling him
why you're pissed.
It's like, yeah, he lived in another state at the time. He was in college, and tell him why I was so angry. And as I pull up to my apartment building or condo, it's an old hotel at Aberdeen over on 15th of Broadway, pull up, my roommate, Keith.
Oh, he's name dropping now.
He parked his car out on the curb, the white Corvette.
Yeah.
A new one. He just bought it. And as I'm pulling up, I can see that somebody's in the vehicle, and there's a man, not to assume his gender. He could have identified as a woman. I don't know. I don't.
But this was a while ago.
It was a while. Oh, yeah. This was like pre-2010, so
yeah.
He probably was just a regular man back then. They didn't have different things.
Right.
But I could see he's got a bike, and he's like in the car, and I'd like I'm telling my brother all this stuff about how bad my night when he pulls up, and I pull up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody's robbing Keith's car. I gotta go. I hung up the phone, hop out of the car, and start yelling at the guy because this was just the pinnacle, like the worst case scenario. Because I'm not an aggressive person.
Right.
Even on the mat, I'm not. I'm like, are you okay? I don't want to.
You just whisper in their ears.
Is this fine? I know I'm hurting you.
I'm about to move
I don't want to hurt you. I want you to give up before I hurt you.
Just count to 3 if you feel in danger.
Yeah. But this was something had snapped inside of me.
Yeah.
And I started yelling at the guy, like, what are you doing?
Right.
And he was very scared. And he pulls up out of the car. He's in the passenger door.
But tell him what he was doing. He was like loading in.
Yeah, he pulls up out, and I see he's got a purse on his arm. So I don't know what he's doing in there, but I know he shouldn't have been in my roommate's car. And so he pulls out, he's got like a lady's purse on his shoulder.
Right.
And like he's got stuff in his hand, and he's like loading stuff from the car into the purse. I take off. I'm like a good like 15 feet behind him because there wasn't a parking spot. I just kind of pulled over to the curb.
Like 3 car lengths, you think?
Like 3 car lengths, yeah. Because I was parking not directly behind him. I was parking. I was like talking to my brother. And I was like looking, what's going on up there?
Yeah.
So I take off at the guy. I'm wearing cowboy boots, and I'm yelling at him. And he's got like a
good old clippity clop.
He's got a bicycle and this purse and stuff. And he sees me coming, and I'm like,
yeah.
And I don't run very fast either, so he had time to think about what he's going to do.
Wild West out here.
He like starts like running, and he's like next to his bike, and he like hops on his bike, but he's trying to he's got his stolen goods in one arm, and he's like pedaling like this.
It's that one pedal, yeah.
Yeah, where his hands not on the other steering wheel, so he can't,
That's a pretty good maneuvering.
Yeah, he was doing pretty good,
just
but
jigging around.
I was going downhill a little bit, and I was closing in, and I didn't really know what to do. So as I got,
how you run.
Yeah, I don't. That's why I don't run very fast. They tell me that I need to put my arms further back, but they don't know what they're talking about.
You're going
well, yeah, short burst.
No, at first you did this, like you're. What are you milking while you're running? In your cowboy boots?
I don't know. This feels like a waste of time. Like you can't milk anything if your arms are out here and you're running like this. So at least
he's gotta have his fist ready to fight. That's what, right?
I had my little fighting fist up.
I'm gonna get him. Just imagine, cluck, 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 cluck.
Anyways, I close in on the guy, and I don't have like a plan. I've never done this before, so I just jump and lead with my cowboy boots. Oh. That's the other thing. He started off on the sidewalk, and then he curved off the sidewalk and was driving through the grass to try and make it to the street, like take a shortcut through the grass, which terrible decision on his part because
obviously
sidewalk he's pulling away. On the grass, my cowboy boots are just like
gripping. Yeah.
I was gaining on him. It's like once he tried to do a shortcut, backfired on him.
Of course.
I jumped cowboy boots first into like this.
So wait, hold on. So you just,
I'm like, yeah, like that. I've been watching a lot of blood sport.
Bloodsport.
Well, I didn't
say uncle.
I knew I didn't want to hurt my face, and it's like a metal.
Oh my
he's on a metal
God.
bike, and
Yeah.
so like I can't.
Were
I go this.
were these square toed or like pointed cowboy boots?
Oh, they're square toed.
Bedazzled or just regular?
They're not bedazzled. They've got some colorful stitching though. Like you'd feel uncomfortable wearing them.
Especially running after somebody about to ultimate punch them from Hot Rod.
They were so good looking though. I tucked my jeans into them. Obviously,
You gotta show them off.
As you do.
You're feeling fancy.
I hit the guy though, like, because I don't know why I went feet first. I think it was about like I'm not wearing a helmet. If I like go into a moving bicycle with my face and arms, it could hurt. So I was like, this is the safest way. So
This is a
this is the safest way to attack somebody.
right.
I kicked the guy, like hit one on the bike, and I think I'm probably just like closed my eyes and like I already had my hands tucked right here
from running.
because that's how I run.
Right,
So I was like,
of course.
just kind of flew in there, like speared him.
Right.
He goes flying off the bike and rolling. The purse drops to the ground. And then I'm rolling too, because he's moving when I hit him. We're both rolling across the ground.
Right.
And then he's trying to get away from me. I don't know what my plan is, like a citizen's
Arrest.
arrest or a citizen's beating was.
License and registration, please. He's like, who are you, Chuck Norris?
You're going to jail. Chuck Norris. That's actually more of what I was watching back then. I've seen Chuck do this 1,000
Now
times.
that makes more sense.
Chuck
yeah.
always landed on his feet though, which is why he's the greatest. So in my mind,
even after being speared.
yeah, in my mind, I was kicking the man off the bike and then landing over him like this, like, hi-ya!
with no gun, just your fist held like here.
Yeah. In fact, if I had a gun, I'd pull it out and throw it to the side, as Chuck Norris does.
We don't need it.
I don't need a gun. This is unfair.
It's just extra weight.
It's already unfair with my bare hand. So yeah, if I'd had a weapon, I would have chose not to use it.
Okay, so
anyways, he's
purse
trying
goes
to
flying.
Purse goes flying. He's trying to get away, and like
Yeah.
I still reiterate, I don't know how to fight or anything like that. So he's
At the
like,
time.
he's
Yeah.
trying to get away, and I'm like grabbing. I'm on my hands and knees, and he's like running on his hands and knees. And
So
I'm
y'all
like,
are just baby crawling away?
I'm grabbing his feet. Well, he's trying to like get up and run, and I'm like grabbing his feet and pulling him down, and then I'm throwing sledgehammers like this, which
Yeah.
is also obviously I didn't hit him very hard because he'd have broken my pinkies if I'd actually hit him. But I was like,
That's where the anger and aggression came from.
oh
You're
yeah,
just so mad. It doesn't
all
matter what
came
happens.
out. Someone probably got my drink order wrong earlier, and that's why I was so
Right.
enraged. And this guy's like, "What's going on?"
Right.
But I'm throwing my stuff like and
Yeah.
scrambling, and he is scared to death because he was probably like, oh, door's unlocked.
Right.
Probably a little drunker.
Right.
Maybe probably a little bit high. I imagine
Right,
he was.
of course.
He was probably out of
It's
it.
okay.
So he's like,
yeah.
oh, free purse, and then it's like, what's going on? What are you doing? And like,
He just got scared.
yeah, he's super chill. Probably just
guy.
been to the gas station, and then
Right.
I'm chasing. Then there's a crazy man in cowboy jeans tucked into his cowboy boots,
Click, 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 click,
yelling
click,
the
click,
Lord's
click.
Prayer at him as I closed it. But he like got up and he's faster than me. Everybody's faster than me. I'll clarify
Especially
that.
at boots. Golly.
Yeah, that's why we're.
If he can get away while one pedaling and holding some other stuff, yeah.
I mean, he was still.
need
on
to
a,
work on the
He was
speed.
still on a bicycle though, so
But-
my adrenaline kicked in
like
like
this?
like a mom whose kid's pinned under a car. I think I was probably moving pretty fast there at the beginning.
Right.
And then once I caught up, it all wore off, and because.
Then
When
now
I
you-
looked up, we were 3 miles away from where we started,
Oh,
and
wow.
I
You've
closed
been
it in
running for
about
a minute.
No, it wasn't that. It was like 20 feet away from where we started. But he got up.
felt like that, okay?
It felt like that. He
Right.
got up, and I chased him for like a block
Yeah.
and then I was completely exhausted.
Right.
I was like, and gave up because he was like pulling away like 10 feet at a time. And
So
I was
did-
like, come back here. You want some more of these fists? Fist of fury. Oh, wah, 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 wah.
If you had a lasso, I would die laughing. Just
Well, I always carry a lasso now, just in case someone's trying to get away from me.
Makes sense.
Oh, but
So did you get the purse back?
yeah, I came back to the crime scene. He committed the crime. Now that I think about it, I was wondering if I did anything illegal. He's the one who broke the law.
Of course.
I saved the day. And I mean, he was able to run, so I didn't hurt him bad. So
Of course.
I grabbed the purse, grabbed the bicycle,
Yeah.
spoils of war, went upstairs. My roommate Keith was in his room asleep with his door shut.
Yeah.
And I kick his door open, and I throw the purse on his bed. He's got his lady in there, and I throw the
course.
bike in there.
Good old Keith.
I'm like, lock your door! Lock your door! He's like, what?
He's probably thinking of his bedroom
What,
door.
what are you talking
well,
about?
He just
What?
kicked
Yeah,
it in.
He
God.
was just as surprised as the guy downstairs was. He's like, what? What's going on? What's on?
Right.
Like, you didn't lock your door. Someone's trying to steal your car, and I saved it.
Was he even grateful at all?
He's grateful.
That's what's up.
I mean,
Okay.
he was the next day. He was
When he came
He just
to.
got woken up in the middle of the night with somebody yelling at him.
Right.
So
In a purse, yeah.
yeah, and the purse. So
That's insane.
yeah.
So you're legit like a local hero around here.
Well, at least on 15th and Broadway, I am.
Excellent, excellent.
So-
People probably don't come around committing crimes there
No,
because of you.
The crime rate dropped on that like 50-foot area.
Yeah.
I don't know of any other crimes that happened there for the
Definitely,
rest
I
of the
haven't
time.
heard
I
of
was-
anything on the news
No.
at all.
No, in fact, most of those people moved
Look at you out here.
to Russia.
Good old clippity clop. That's good. You said to Russia?
That's where they.
Speaking of Russia,
Speaking of Russia,
we're going to talk about your favorite Christmas movie. Now, let me preface this. We
oh,
can't,
let's bring these up because this
that one was a good transition. Okay.
This goes into it. So
Those do go into it.
you brought these
Yeah,
books.
I did.
I
I wanted to do it like Ellen does it. Presents
Okay.
it.
All right.
She would just reach down into the abyss. Nobody knows where she reaches or reach behind her, and just.
Are you gonna do it with both of them?
All right. Now you also know that Jacob Wells is a published author, right?
Yeah.
A author. Okay.
I'm an author.
And these 2 books now are on Amazon.
On Amazon.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
So shout out to that. That's pretty big a deal. That's a pretty big deal.
Wow, the crowd's going wild.
Yeah, dude, settle down. You in the back.
Yeah.
Put your clothes on. So I would say that this is pretty awesome. How many I would say years did it take you to write these 2?
Well, so the first one, Rolling the Warrior, wrote for my kid. I wanted to have
Precious.
something. I write a lot of poetry. I'm I'm kind of like a rapper, except I don't have rhythm, so I'm a poet.
Of course.
So I write poems and stuff. So
Maybe the next episode you can come and bring some pieces for us.
I will,
Story time with Jacob.
or I could just try and rap, and that'd be funny.
Well, you have a reputation to uphold.
We should rap together.
I have a reputation to
I
uphold.
actually failed in karaoke.
You
for my
failed?
birthday. Did a song with my sister-in-law, some Maroon 5 and Gym Class Heroes. What's that song?
I know what you're talking about. Oh, okay.
But gosh, what is
Hold on.
what is that song?
Jukebox. Heart.
Listen, put my hands down and play that song. No,
No,
that's
that
not
is
it.
Miley Cyrus. Party in the USA. What? How do you mix those
Hold
two
on.
songs together?
On the
It's
there's a stereo. There's a stereo.
Stereo heartbreak or something.
Yeah,
Stereo.
How's it go? How's the chorus go?
Now you got Miley Cyrus stuck in my head. I was about to go into not to put my hands up.
Hold on. What's that?
Hold on. It's stereo something.
Yeah. Oh.
He said, oh. Yeah. And then that's all we can play because I don't know if YouTube will give us. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
well-
but yes, that's it. What's it called, Taylor?
Stereo Hearts.
Stereo Hearts.
Adam Levine.
Adam Levine.
Yeah.
It's still Maroon 5. Yeah.
Oh well, my sister-in-law Jill was like, "Oh, let's do this song." I was like, "She's
If
like,
I
what
had
is-"
a 50 bedroom.
Well, I didn't know the.
Yeah.
I was just thinking like, "My heart's a stereo." Oh, it's like, "Oh, I know that." Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, I got that.
I got that. And then we get up there, and she's like, "Okay, so are you gonna do the rap part?" I was like, "What? Rap?" I remembered the
The
my
hook.
heart's a stereo. Like, evidently, that's just 2 lines in the song.
That is only 2 lines. Yeah.
yeah, it just So, but it was butchered.
So you did well or no?
No, very poorly. Very poorly.
Come on. So
I didn't know the words to the rap part.
you
And,
said that's Gym Class Heroes? Yeah.
and I'm not
You'd
a
be
good
disappointed.
I'm not a good rapper, and I didn't know the words. And so when you combine those two things together,
It was just a mumble jumbo.
it was like if I had
But everybody in the crowd was probably going nuts.
well, we would recover every time the chorus came around. Like we were
Right,
harmonizing,
right,
like my heart's stereo.
Then everybody's just like,
Yeah, so we're
one
like,
more song, one more
Yeah.
song. That's incredible. You're
Yeah.
pretty much the next Eminem.
Well, I'm like the white M&M. That's what they call me on 15th and Broadway.
Oh my God. So,
Oh, anyway,
these-
yeah. So,
rolling.
I've always written poetry, and I
That
wrote,
is dope, though, that you wrote it for your son.
yeah, I wrote a Dark Christmas Story. I started like the first draft, and I sent it out like in 2007 or 8 with
Yeah.
a Christmas card. I always did Christmas cards, like a picture
Which
of
are
myself.
the best things to look forward to when it comes to Christmas?
Thank you.
I look forward to presents, but more so I look forward to Jacob Wells Christmas cards.
Appreciate that. But that's how I got started. And then as I had a son, I was like, you know what? I need to like put some artwork and like make
Yeah.
it where if something happens to me or years from now, they'll be like, oh, my dad did this. Pretty
Right.
cool. Because
Pretty cool.
I keep thinking of things I would like what if I had this from my dad? My
Right.
dad's 60, late 60s, 67. It's like I'll see pictures of him like in his basketball jersey in college or the Panthers. I was like, man,
I
it'd be
wish I had
so
that.
cool to have
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
So
Same.
I've been kind of thinking, what can I like leave behind? So that was the motivation, was to put something out that would be not necessary for. I mean, if monetarily it makes money, like that'd be a bonus, but that wasn't the real
goal in mind.
The real goal of it was
Right,
to kind of get a creative outlet and utilize what I've done. So
this one is hilarious.
That's
for one.
That's,
but I also may have to agree that it may not be a children's book, correct?
I guess that depends on how you're raising your children. Like you told me that you're not punishing your kids and you let them do whatever you want.
I
So
said
I think
said whatever.
Jet would actually really enjoy this book.
You're right.
I don't know if I'm going to let
Obviously-
Roland read it till he's 18, but
definitely not. Definitely. I would say, it's hilarious though. Like I think it would be a good, because you said that you've even performed it with like a guitar and everything. Because it does rhyme.
The whole thing is a rhyme. So I performed it. I got it on. Oh, I sent you a link. Did you not watch the link I sent you?
Yes, I did, because you were wearing red overalls.
You could see that from the front picture, though.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I think you can. Hold on.
But
You know what?
I've performed it live a couple times. It's on YouTube.
But yes, it's hilarious. Though.
And then I've got once I did these two, I've got a sequel coming out to the Dark Christmas Story, and I'm gonna just try and add to it. We're gonna kind of have a set,
and you'll keep Roland as like the main character.
Roland's the main character.
That's awesome. There it is. Boom.
Boom.
Everybody needs to get at least this one for your kids.
It's
At
actually
least
too. If you're a Kindle subscriber, it's free on Kindle. If you like subscribe to Kindle, it's free. Or if you don't subscribe, it's like $4.99 or $3.99, and then
$4.99 is such a cheap
that's the
thing.
Kindle.
Man.
And you can get a paperback for $13.99 or $14.99 on Amazon.
People spend that on coffee,
I know,
and that goes away. This is the gift that
I wish
keeps.
I'd spent $14.99 on
giving.
coffee today instead of getting Brahms. But anyways.
But hey, it is what it is.
Oh, but as I wanted to bring that up because my second. Now this one has some. I'll just flip to the last page of it.
Yeah.
This one has some characters like the Grinch, Mr. Potter,
Infamous
Scrooge,
ones.
infamous Christmas heroes. And my next book has another hero, Hans Gruber, which you wanted to talk about, Die Hard.
Now we're getting into the nitty gritty.
That is Hans Gruber is the hero of the Die Hard movies.
I put a poll out on my story after I shot the video with you at your job, and everybody, maybe give or take, maybe 5 or 8, I think even Taylor said so, that Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not even think about it. I just didn't think about it at all, just in general.
Do you think It's a Wonderful Life is a Christmas movie?
I haven't really watched that one.
Have you watched White Christmas?
I watched Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase. That's hilarious. I watched The Grinch, Elf,
What I will tell you
Christmas
is
Story.
the Die Hard has more Christmas songs in it than most other Christmas movies out there. And it's a Christmas party, and
Right.
So since we brought it up,
Right.
you're on board that it is a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I mean, I stood
Okay.
corrected. I'm not one of them ones like, no,
Oh,
it's got to
man.
be. Oh, you want to argue about it?
Well, I don't want to have to argue. I knew I was going to
I
win
don't
the
want to have
argument.
to be correct.
I
but
hate being correct, so it just saves me a bunch of time instead of having to prove you wrong.
But whenever because I was arguing at first because I didn't know. So I'll go back to that, of not knowing. So like even in the fact of where you proved me wrong was the Die Hard 2, where that actually came out in December as well.
Also based around Christmas,
Right.
not just when it comes out, because Lords of the Ring and Star Wars come out around.
Lords of the Ring?
Lords of the Ring.
Lord of the Rings?
Lord. Well, I think the S is silent.
There's an H in there. Lords of the Ring.
Lords of the Ring.
I'm just playing.
Just
Go ahead.
because it comes
Yeah.
out around Christmas doesn't make it a Christmas movie. But if it's Christmas theme, like Die Hard's a Christmas party.
That's true.
They play Christmas music.
I get
When John
that.
McClane gets off the airplane, he asks the driver, like, hey, can you play some Christmas songs?
Yeah.
That's not what his voice sounds like.
But it was
Can I
close.
play some Christmas songs?
I just never knew that. Or maybe I wasn't
What type
old
of family
enough.
were you raised in where you didn't watch Die Hard every Christmas morning?
Protective, okay? I was an only child. They want to shield the brain, okay, and what came into it.
Another
Another
common argument about that is that, like, oh, a Christmas movie can't be violent. And
that's not true because Christmas Vacation is very violent.
but there's not like deaths and murders
yeah.
in that.
True,
But
true. What about
I thought that was I had to dwell on that argument for a lot. And then I thought, remember the first Christmas story with Jesus? And King Herod was just murdering babies all over the
That is
Middle
true.
East?
That is
like,
true.
The original Christmas story is a bloodbath.
it's a bloodbath?
And
for
so
sure.
I would argue that like a Christmas family vacation
Yeah.
isn't bloody enough to actually represent Christmas
Right.
because it's not keeping up with the traditional.
That's facts.
The OGs.
The
of-
OG Christmas.
So
Wow. So now everybody needs to deck the halls. Yeah.
deck the halls.
Everybody go out and watch your local Die Hard movie for Christmas.
Yeah,
with
your
family.
local one.
Your
Your local
one.
Die Hard movie.
They don't do Family Video no more or Blockbuster. I miss those days. It's so annoying that you like how many times do you spend more time flipping through Netflix, Hulu to just get one movie?
Yeah, what's crazy
Do you
is
remember like going to the Blockbuster and being like, I know what movie I gotta go get. I gotta go find it. Boom.
I don't know.
Rent.
I feel like I went through that when I went to Blockbuster too. Mainly
Same thing, right?
Where
Yeah.
I'd like, yeah, okay, I got the movie I want. Let's walk down and just.
There was an excitement about it.
There was an excitement. It was like hunting for manly people. Like so we don't have to
Right.
go to the forest to find a deer
Exactly.
or a cat.
Yes.
We can go to Blockbuster and like hunt for movies
Exactly. My dad says that every time he goes hunting and doesn't get a deer, it's just called camping.
or a cat.
A cat? You kill cats?
No, I said
Is that a cat season?
I said hunting for a deer, and I was trying to think of something else, a deer or a cat. I don't hunt cats.
Are you hunting in your neighborhood?
Just bad guys. Just robbers.
Clippity clop. They need to have a Christmas movie about you.
That actually happened on Christmas Eve. So that
Shut up.
I don't know when it happened.
So that whole story was a full circle of Christmas.
I'm going to tell you a real Christmas story.
Roland, go ahead and sit by the fire. Get your hot cocoa and listen.
Let me go put on my Christmas boots and tuck my pajamas into them, and I'll tell you a story, boy.
Listen to how your father saved 15th Street.
Dad, why are your boots covered in blood? Well,
Haven't washed them since 2007. That's insane.
times were wilder back then. We only had 2 genders. We had low credit scores. Russia wasn't at war.
Sounds like a great day.
It was wild.
Way less complicated than now, but it was a wild time.
Do you do like voice impressions of your kid?
I just talk to him like he's a grown adult, but like if he had a regular voice.
Yeah, me and my wife Lydia, we always like because he can't talk yet, which is disappointing. So I have to fill in what I think he's saying all the time because he'll be like looking at us and I'm like, "Oh, Papa, could you please give me some more milk, sir?" Trying to interpret what he's saying and say it way better than he does because he can't talk. I'm trying to motivate him like, listen, I don't want to have to talk for you your whole life, but once you learn how to do it, then I'll stop. Right. Maybe he'll I'm kind of bullying because I'm making fun of him. And so hopefully change his behavior.
So sometimes bullying can be a good thing.
It's an example of good bullying when you
bully them to do the right thing.
Bully them to be a better person.
Okay. Excellent. So that's even a good topic, man. So what do you think? I mean, we're talking about a whole
bully him into teaching him how to walk. Like he doesn't want to. He's lazy, but I'm like walking him around. And he's pissed off about it. Like, Dad, what are you doing?
I like being on the ground.
Oh, this is ridiculous. You guys even know what you're doing? Worst parents ever.
And then you look at them and say, now you know how to talk.
Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Have you ever thought about this?
No.
Kids don't really know what the words they're saying, right? They just repeat what you say, right? So they don't even know the meaning of...
My kid's not repeating anything.
Dada. They don't know the meaning of mama, bob, bottle, whatever. They just go like, hey, cup, hey, cup, hey, cup. You know what I'm saying? So whenever they realize what a word is, then they just start repeating it. So if you ever think about that, the concept is pretty crazy to me. It's just really repeating. And then I also found out, okay, think about this. It is possible to read a book, right? And your brain, okay, just knows what the word looks like. And you could be reading it, right, and just knowing it by memorization of what the word looks like, not like thinking about consciously what you're reading. Mine is pretty powerful, bro.
How's that different than just like reading the different... I think that's how I read.
How do you read?
Well, I like look at a word and know what it looks like.
Exactly.
Because that's the whole point. Letters are all different shapes. If they weren't different shapes,
right.
So each word's like a picture.
Exactly. So then are we really like learning, or are we just knowing shapes this whole time?
It would depend if you remember anything that you read.
Isn't that crazy?
Well,
it's deep.
I don't know if it's that deep, actually.
Maybe not.
Oh, I hit the wrong one. Dad, guys. You guys stop clapping.
Right. Settle down. So
I'm just trying to get my kid to stop pooping in his pants and learn how to talk and communicate before we get into the...
So this could actually be a concept of positive bullying.
Yeah, I don't even know.
It sounds bad, but like...
We should look up the actual, like, what's the actual definition of bullying? Because there's like motivating somebody, which I guess a bully could argue, I guess intent is probably the difference between bullying and positive motivation. What's your intent? Like if you're punching somebody or like punching somebody or stuffing them in a locker, what's the intent? Is it... It's typically like in a school situation or a workplace environment, the intent's not good. It's to demean and hurt the other person and for that person's benefit. But if like you're a coach who's yelling at somebody to make them, or a parent who's yelling at a 5-month-old and telling him to learn how to walk and how to change his diaper, change a diaper! Right. Then I'm doing that for the betterment if you're doing it for the better. So I think that would be where you draw a line. Is like because you could call people. You call Phil Jackson a bully for taking his, because he's a very hardcore coach. Right. Yell at people and strict.
But it's
and
an
it's
iconic
like
movie.
Is he a bully? Iconic movie. Yeah. Phil Jackson.
Is it not?
You thinking Phil Jackson's the coach of the Bulls and Lakers?
Is there not a movie about him?
Are you thinking of Peter Jackson?
Maybe.
Who did Lords of the Rings?
No, not at all.
You sure there's not an S on there?
There's not an S on
So it's
Lord
about one
of the Rings.
person. It's Lord of the Rings, so it's specifically about one person
Because
is the
one
Lord.
person that gets the ring.
One ring to rule them all. One ring to guide them. One ring to bring them.
Or there's actually multiple lords, is there not?
That's why it should have an S on the end.
Well, don't talk to me. Talk to J.K. Rowling or
That's Harry
J.K.
Potter.
Tolan.
No,
Rowling.
J.R.
J.R.
Tolkien.
Tolkien.
J.R.
Look at you.
Tolkien.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's what we're going for.
I don't know what you're talking about before.
But actually bullying somebody in a
bullying,
positive way. I think that it because this is the only reason why it's being brought up is because you and I like to play devil's advocate on things, right? So seeing both sides of it, okay, there are, which is a good, motivation of, there are some pretty great leaders out here in the world that were very heavily bullied as a kid. But they used that bullying mentality or that bullying instance and trauma, changed their perspective and used it as motivation to get to where they are. So, but you do the same thing to a different kid, it could be traumatizing and shift to
that's
the future.
where I would say that just
That's
the
difficult.
when you're talking about bullying, in both situations, the bullying is bad. If someone's treating two kids bad. Just because one person responds to it better and takes it as motivation. Now that's where your perception comes in. I can take something bad that's happening to me and I can be the victim, or I can flip it around and say, okay, I don't want this to happen to me. What can I learn? How can I be a better person?
That's where I think some people argue with people like what's his name? David Goggins.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they're super intense about
that guy can run.
Exactly.
But he kind of keeps it close
He
too.
probably that's like the fast mall walking.
Yeah. That's what I'm preparing for. Everyone, all the old people are already doing this. I'm like, why would I waste my time doing this when I know I'm going to end up in a mall doing this? So let's just skip over.
The power really comes from your hips, not your hands.
Yeah.
It's just that.
When you're taking big strides, you can't shake your hips. When you take the little, it's kind of like a little dance. But David Goggins takes heat because he's
able to do that.
Yeah.
There's some people, I feel like, him or, and I would love to meet these people, obviously, because I feel like I take that type of intense motivation. That's what it motivates me. You know what I'm saying? But it may be different for somebody else to get motivated in that type of way.
I'm not motivated that way.
By somebody yelling at you or something like that.
Somebody's trying to demean me or bring me down.
Right.
I don't respond
well.
I don't respond well at all. I respond better off encouragement.
Okay.
But I know exactly what you're talking about. I've got buddies, especially a lot of athletes.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of people that are on the on the opposite end of the spectrum, where it's like, oh, you tell me I can't do something,
right.
I'm gonna prove you wrong.
Yeah.
And when someone's trying to beat me down, or I'm thinking, I don't want to waste my time. This is not worth it to me. I'm gonna go do something else. Or
I guess it depends on who says it to me, because I feel like if it's disrespectful, then we have problems. But if it's you know what I'm saying?
No, I wanted to clarify. I was gonna go back to where you said I don't think there's any such thing as positive bullying.
Right.
Because what we're talking about are two different things. So saying bullying is still going to have negative connotations, but motivating somebody through David Goggins tactics, for example, where it's hardcore yelling, but the purpose, the intention is specifically to make somebody better, where the intentions that's what differentiates it from bullying. So I don't think you could say positive bullying.
Right, yeah.
Because it would
terminology is definitely off, but...
Well,
it is.
I'm just thinking as a kid, if I'd found out that I could positively bully somebody, I'd be stuffing a lot of my siblings in lockers for their benefit.
Well, you
well, Mom, they were getting a little too chubby, and I thought maybe a little bit of time in the sweat box would help them lose weight. And
good job, Jacob.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I would have found a way to spin it to where I was positively bullying everybody.
Right.
Well, I'm a positive bully.
The only hard thing is you didn't have lockers at your house because
it was a toy chest, which sometimes doubled as a toilet whenever I slept, walked into the closet. It's the
amazing.
same distance as the toilet was in the bathroom. The
Right,
two doors
right.
are right next.
Yeah.
You walk in one, toilet's on the right. You walk in the closet, there's a toy chest on the right.
They're both the
Multiple
same
times
size.
they open it up, and the next day, like, why is there so much pee in here?
That's insane.
Yeah, we need to move this to the other side so I won't
Right.
be so confused.
Put it right next to it.
You never peed in a toy chest?
Nah,
Well, you never lived, brother.
that's insane. Oh man. So yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, but it would just be the terminology issue that we would, you know what I'm saying? Because even take it at this constructive criticism, even if you have the purest intent, because you have a wife, to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like in those situations, even if you're motivating or you're pointing out something or criticizing,
I don't think
constructive criticism, whatever,
criticism goes into any conversation that wives are okay with, is what I've noticed recently.
but then also think of it as a kid. You know what I'm saying? If you're in a parent situation or you're a teacher situation or just an older friend to a kid that may be a little unstable, anything could be like low-key triggering if, you know, they may not be ready to receive it. I feel like it just is a realm of what is their mindset of ready to receive either truth or even if it's not true. Like I'm pointing out something in you and being like, hey, you're doing this because this, and this. And you're like, nah, that's not really true. So, but there's a little bit of truth to it, but not all the way.
I'd say the only people that we're allowed to criticize where it won't be taken negatively are people that we unquestionably don't question their intent for telling us something.
Right.
And so I've allowed my circle, the people that can affect me with their criticism, it's a very small circle. I care about my wife, my dad. It's all people that I know
And me. Right.
and you
Yeah, of course.
care about me, where I know that if they're criticizing something, it's not because they're trying to bring me down.
It's not attacking.
They're not,
Yeah.
but they're not bringing it up to attack. And like most of the criticism we receive in our life isn't typically from those people. And a kid, if you haven't earned a kid's trust, or a parent hasn't earned their kid's trust, or a teacher hasn't earned the kid's trust, it all depends what the criticism's coming from. And if it's presented as a way that's like, hey, I'm telling you this because I want what's best for you.
Yeah.
Like, you need to do better. You need to show up on time, like, or whatever the criticism, like, you're ugly.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, like, you need to be less ugly because it's going to be tough for you to get married someday.
Well, there are some ugly
Or you're gonna have
dudes
to be
that have
really rich.
fine wives.
I probably got a lot of money.
That's true.
Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with your looks.
Yeah.
You're lucky.
That's
on that
where
end.
that's where it comes from. I got a little bit of both, so it kind of worked out.
Money and looks.
Yeah.
My man. That's what I like to hear. Every time. Well, dude, I really appreciate you. I think did we have any more on this list? Bob Saget father, Ye,
No,
Kim,
no.
positive,
We don't-
unpositive. Yeah, that was bad.
We'll get into Kim and
got-
Yi next time.
Yee.
That's what I call them.
That's the problem already. Okay, to be continued on that Yee. God, you need to get yeeted out of here. God.
Thank you very much.
15th Street, what up? Excellent. Well, dude, I really appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much. And thank you for everything that you do with Generation Y. We didn't even talk about curriculum, but that's a
man.
whole nother thing, too.
We'll get into
and
it.
so there's another board member that's looking to get on. So, but yeah, so we really appreciate you, man, and excited for what we got coming.
Oh, wait, one real quick.
Yes.
Tell them about what would just happen with GNWY, because that's a pretty big update.
That is a pretty big update, yes. So, yeah, we just got done with Edmund Norris Philanthropy Week.
What's it? Balto?
And Balto, yes, sir.
Also a great movie.
No S's. And
Oh, that's probably what it's named after, that cartoon movie, Balto, because it's about a husky.
they are the Huskies.
Yeah, no, keep going.
Yeah, I did that same thing. Yeah, it was actually pretty dope to me too. And it stands for bringing light to others. And yeah, so they spend at least 6 to 7 months of planning events and fundraising and all that kind of stuff. And then they went really hard during February 14th through the 18th of like lunch dares, doing all this stuff, and ping pong tournaments, shaving people's faces, all that kind of
Get
stuff.
to the end of the story. Get to the
Friday, boom, they raised the money of $3,000 short of $200,000.
That's awesome. All right. Well, thank you very much for having me on it. The show.
Yes.
Glad we could.
I really appreciate you coming through, man.
I was really expecting more kickback on Die Hard. I wish we could have. I'm glad your mind changed though. So
We'll get in.
I'm gonna
we'll
find
get into that.
some.
I'm gonna find some
another
negative things. to say
Stupid
about
opinion that you have about something else that I'll change for you.
that. Of course. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.